Hey guys, what's up? It's Karl here, back with another one, and Pixel 5 is officially here, officially confirmed. I'm sure we all just saw the keynote, and I wanted to chat about why I think the Pixel 5 is going in the right direction. That price point of $699 for Google's new, I guess, flagship, quote unquote. It doesn't necessarily have flagship specs, but honestly, do we really need that? Google has been cutting corners and fine-tuning on where they see their smartphone lineup should be. If we take a look at, say, the Pixel 4a, super popular device, $350. A lot of you guys have said this could be the phone of the year solely for that price, and I think Google understands that, and they're no longer making phones that are selling for $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 because that's honestly ridiculous. I find it hard to recommend smartphones, no matter how good they might be, if they're selling for over $1,500 to $2,000. And some devices come to mind more than others, but I get in 2020 right now, money is definitely a bit tough, and going for a smartphone that costs less, I think more people are going that direction or going that route. So for that $699 price tag, what exactly are we getting? Internally, it's the Snapdragon 765G, so it isn't their top-end 865 chipset. And to be honest, that's totally fine on my end. The OnePlus Nord was actually the first device to ship with that chipset, very quick and snappy, and when you combine that with Google's stock Android, the new Android 11, and I can even say the Pixel 4a with the Snapdragon 730G, this is still quite quick, quite snappy. I haven't really noticed too much of a performance dip between this and, say, those flagships that cost, triple, quadruple the price. And design-wise, the Pixel 5 is actually very similar to the Pixel 4, just slightly enlarged. So we have a 6-inch panel. It's only 1080p, but the big difference, it now has a 90 Hz display. And that was the one thing lacking that I found on the 4a. I'd spend that extra money just to have a smoother and faster refresh rate. And it's just one of those things, once you've started using it, it's really hard to go back to a at least minimum 90 Hz display phone. My iPhone just feels super dated right now. I know the iPhone 12 coming very shortly, I believe October 13th is the official keynote date. And we should hopefully be seeing that big upgrade, so it's good to see the Pixel 5 going in that right direction and not cutting too many corners. The back is still polycarbonate / plastic, and it does come in two different colorways, so the Just Black and their new line, Sage Green. It's actually very similar to the green found on the Pixel 4a's on and off button. And I'm always a fan of colorways that aren't the standard white, black, silver, so that's the model that I'm grabbing. And also on the back, we still thankfully have a fingerprint sensor, and I'm really grateful for that, especially this year. Face ID or facial recognition unlocking on phones doesn't really work as well because a lot of us are wearing masks now. So I'm always happy to see that. And camera-wise, this is where it differs from the 4a. We still have the same 12 megapixel main sensor, but now they're swapping out the telephoto lens for a 16 megapixel ultra-wide. And a lot of you that have watched the channel know that I'm a bigger fan of ultra-wide cameras. I tend to use them way more than, say, a telephoto sensor. We still have the 8 megapixel front-facing camera with the small hole punch cutout, and nothing to complain about on that end. And as always, the big benefit of Google's cameras, it's not necessarily the hardware, the lenses. It doesn't have a crazy 100-time zoom. It doesn't have a quad camera system, but it's Google's algorithms and their image processing. Because if you take a Google device, if you just look at one lens, I can argue this still takes the best photos on a smartphone, not talking about versatility, just one lens compared to any other lens found on a smartphone camera. Their night shots are great, dynamic range is on point, color reproduction is awesome, so I would argue the Pixel experience on a camera, not just on the Pixel 5, but across the range, is one of their biggest strengths. And to many of you that see other manufacturers boasting some really high numbers on their camera specs, 100 times ultra zoom, space zoom, hybrid zoom, whatever you want to call it, in reality, how many times do you use those features? Most people, when they're taking pics with their smartphone, it's just a simple point and shoot and you just use the one lens. And if there's any device you want to see a camera comparison with, let me know down below and I can definitely make that happen. But super curious to hear your thoughts on the brand new Pixel 5. I think $699, great entry point, especially when you compare it to other devices. I do honestly think if Google priced this in around that $500, I know that we're pushing that on the low end dollar mark. This would absolutely be the phone of the year. I can guarantee you within 6 months, the price will probably drop to that point, so maybe hold off until then. And another little bonus, if you were still eyeing the 4A, they just did announce the 4A 5G that will be coming sometime in November, I believe. So that's also another potential option, but let me know what you guys think about the Pixel 5, that $699 price point. I think smartphones these days kind of hit that point of diminishing returns. Once you pass a certain mark, which even the 4A certainly does, the performance gains aren't too noticeable of a difference. So I'm not worried about the 5 not having the top end chipsets. They've hit the mark with the 90 Hz display. You've got stock Android, a great camera experience for not too expensive. I think it's a solid pick, to be honest. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video of the Pixel 5. Full unboxing coming on the channel once it comes to the studio, which is super shortly, so stay posted till then, or perhaps one of my next videos. Peace!